Good morning, teachers and staff who are going to be watching my demonstration class today. Rather than writing a lesson plan, which I would actually prefer that you not be reading while I'm doing the lesson, I have decided to make a speaking lesson plan and explain to you some of the things that you will see in my demonstration class. I struggled a lot over this because I know that uh, you're expecting this to be a class similar to the other classes that we've seen where a lesson plan is handed out. Here's the goals of it. And I do have goals and I do have what I'm planning on doing. However, I was hired to teach communication in the school. And so I have a long-term goal with all of my students in every class to help the students master listening and as much speaking skills as they possibly can in the time that I have with them. That's the long-term goal. On short-term goals, I like to cover material and go as deep into that material and as wide on that material as possible, getting the students to really enjoy the process of learning about anything in new topics, new ideas, new material, not just this week's 5 or 10 vocabulary words. So you're going to see some very different ways that I approach things. The beginning of my classes, and so since we're going to have a demonstration class, I would like you to watch what happens in the class. The way I start almost every class and every interaction, including times when I'm just walking around the school and going to visit classes for brief periods of time, involves the students coming to me to ask about what's on their clothes, the colors of their clothes. In the very early stages, it might just be colors. Then it becomes things. Then it becomes the different things that are on their clothes or what they are imagining for that day, whether it be dinosaurs or Hello Kitty or flowers or yellow with a circle and an orange dot and all the little things that they want to know. And I teach all of my students very early on that if you bring me something, I will tell you what it is. You can bring it to me every day for weeks. I don't expect every kid to be able to just repeat back what it is at the beginning. Some get it and the older they get, the faster they acquire that new vocabulary. Others, they may bring me a thing and show it to me and say, what is it? Like just bring it. And I'll say, that's a hammerhead shark. And then they'll bring it for a week. And then at the end of that week, they'll run up to me and say, hammerhead shark. They also might show me new things that are in their classroom. The pictures of the topics of that week are one of the things they like to point out. Some new toy or new sign that the teachers have put up in the class will be of interest to them. Something that they've got, a hair barrette or a bracelet or a toy or a teddy bear or whatever it is, I engage with each and every kid as much as possible in that first part of the class. I then usually use a song to work on numeracy and also on storytelling. And you'll see today that oftentimes I introduce a song with a story that's getting them listening. It's building their vocabulary because the more that they hear in my lesson, the more that they can process later on and have it become part of their English center in their brain, their driving center. The topic from last week was sea animals. And so I'm going to use that as a segue into our new topic of summer material, or summer activities, excuse me. You'll see a small review of sea animals, and I will also show you that I've taught some of the kids what I call fun facts, and you'll get to see me challenge them about, some extra information about something, not just the word octopus, but things about an octopus. We then are going to move into the topic of summer activities, and I'm going to use the segue of being under the sea, and when we're exploring all those animals, to being at the beach on a holiday. Holidays are a major thing that almost every family in Vietnam does during the summer at some point in their lifetimes. For some it's later if they're not financially as stable. For others, every year they're going to have some trips to the beaches, to Saigon, to go to the zoo, to the water park, to various things like that. I'm going to use that as a segue in to asking them the question, do you like the beach? And have you been to the beach? Now, I do that individually by going around the room, and you'll see how I do that as well. Then we're going to play a game. And in this game, I use slides at the very beginning of it that show all kinds of different summer activities. I teach them those activities, and then we play a game where each student gets to come up, have a turn at one of the questions. What you'll see is that if a kid can't answer it, I help them answer it. No kid walks away from there having not answered the question or not learned the material. I also then repeat that out loud to the rest of the students who are watching the game on the TV screen. And that will pretty much wrap up the day. I usually end with an activity song that is related to the subject. And today we will have an activity song that is a calming down song because they're going into lunchtime, and I really don't want to leave them super hypered up. But we're going to do an I Love the Ocean song. It's a very calm song, and we'll do that on YouTube. That should be about half an hour. My lessons tend to be rather fluid, and I'm also flexible because the interests of the students often drive what happens in a lesson. So with the sea animals, we went on diversions into sea otters. We learned about octopus as more of a creature and some things about their anatomy that are unique. Today you may see that too, as well as students bring in their own interest. Now, I ask you to please observe, watch me, critique me in any way you can. And if you ever do want to come and watch me in any other class, please do. I interact with every age level slightly differently, obviously, because they're at different levels. But I encourage you to see some of the ways I use in teaching and learn from them, just as I'm learning from watching the other teachers, JR and April so far. And look forward to seeing all of your demo lessons and learning more as well. So I hope you understand this. I'm going to send this out to everybody, and take a listen before you come to the class. Observe, try to remember things that you want to say to me and write them down afterwards, partly because as you guys write things down, that can, we call it for bludgeoned, it can affect a teacher because they notice something being written down, and so they begin to second guess what they're doing. Oh, did I make a mistake there? What is somebody writing down? So try to watch and observe and give me feedback this afternoon. I hope you enjoyed the lesson, and we'll see you soon. Peace.